If you're thinking about moving to Dayton, Ohio, but you're not sure yet if it's actually the right place for you, not just affordable, not just fine, but somewhere you truly enjoy living, this video is for you. Dayton is one of those cities people tend to underestimate, and whether you end up loving it or deciding it's not the right fit often comes down to understanding the real pros and cons, not the outdated reputation or the highlight reel. So in this video, I'm breaking down what it's actually like to live here from a real estate and lifestyle perspective. So by the end, you'll have a much clearer sense of whether Dayton fits the life you want. So let's jump in. Pro number one, the cost of living. This is where we shine. Let's start with the biggest reason people are even looking at Dayton in the first place, affordability. If you're relocating from a larger metro like Chicago, California, the East Coast, or even nearby cities like Cincinnati or Columbus, Dayton feels like a reset. Buyers come here expecting to compromise, and instead they end up upgrading. Housing costs sit well below the national average, and Dayton's price per square foot advantage is where this really shows up. Instead of downsizing just to stay within budget, you're getting larger homes, real yards, finished basements, attached garages, and usable living space, often for hundreds of thousands less than comparable homes in bigger markets. This is especially noticeable in areas like Centerville or Springboro, where buyers can afford homes with extra bedrooms, home offices, and outdoor space that would be completely out of reach elsewhere. And this isn't just a lower mortgage payment, it's a lifestyle difference. That savings can turn into a travel fund, a college savings plan, or simply the ability to live comfortably without feeling stretched or house poor. Utilities, transportation, and everyday expenses are very manageable, and while property taxes do vary by city and school district, they tend to feel far more predictable than what many out-of-state buyers are used to. The key is balance. Dayton offers affordability without sacrificing livability, and that combination is getting harder to find. Now let's talk about the Midwest reality, weather. Con number one. Living in Dayton means experiencing all four seasons. Winters can be cold, gray, and occasionally snowy. It's not constant and it's not lake effect snow, but winter still feels like winter. Spring brings everything back to life, though it can be rainy and unpredictable. Summers warm up, and yes, humidity is part of the deal, especially in July and August. Fall, however, is where Dayton really shines. Crisp air, colorful foliage, football weather, and festivals. We love our festivals. Easily the favorite season for most locals. The trade-off is simple. If you enjoy the rhythm of distinct seasons, cozy winters, vibrant falls, you'll probably love it here. But if year-round sunshine is a non-negotiable, those gray winter weeks will be your biggest adjustment. Pro number two, our communities. One of the biggest surprises for people moving to Dayton is how community-driven it feels. This isn't a city where everyone is constantly passing through. People put down roots here. Neighbors know each other. Kids grow up together. Local businesses will recognize you. In walkable areas like the Oregon District, there's a strong neighborhood energy with restaurants, events, and local pride. In the suburban communities throughout the region, you'll find block parties, school events, youth sports, and a real sense of stability. Unlike more transient cities, friendships here tend to last. For families, remote workers, and buyers looking for long-term roots, that sense of belonging becomes one of Dayton's biggest strengths. Con number two, it's not a 24/7 city. Dayton is not a nonstop, high-energy city, and that's an important thing to understand. If you're looking for clubs open until sunrise or a constant nightlife, Dayton may feel quiet, especially during the week. Restaurants and bars close earlier, and the overall pace is calmer, more intentional. For some people, that's a downside. If your lifestyle revolves around late nights and constant stimulation, Dayton may feel slower than you'd like. But for many buyers, especially those with families, professionals, and remote workers, that slower pace is actually a benefit. Less noise, less traffic, shorter commutes. Evenings feel calm instead of chaotic. It's not about having nothing to do, it's about having some room to breathe. Pro number three, parks, trails, and outdoor living. Dayton punches way above its weight when it comes to outdoor access. There's an extensive trail system connecting neighborhoods, rivers, green spaces that make it easy to bike, run, or walk for miles without dealing with any traffic. Kayaking, hiking, and quiet nature escapes are often just minutes from home. Outdoor time here becomes part of daily life instead of something you plan around. You finish work, step outside, and go. For people who value movement, fresh air, and balance, Dayton makes an active lifestyle feel natural and sustainable. Con number 3, perception versus reality. Dayton still carries an outdated reputation that can surprise some newcomers. If someone's last impression comes from a drive-through years ago, they may picture a city in decline. But that version of Dayton no longer reflects reality. Downtown has been revitalized, historic buildings repurposed, and neighborhoods continue to see reinvestment. Areas like the Water Street District show how much the city has evolved. The downside, you may have to explain your move to friends or family who haven't visited recently. But once they do, perceptions tend to change quickly. Pro number 4, location and accessibility, especially for our military personnel. Dayton's location is one of the most underrated strengths. You're about an hour from Cincinnati and Columbus, right near I-75 and I-70, and served by a regional airport that's easy to navigate without the stress of major hubs. And for military personnel, proximity to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is a major advantage. Dayton has long been a hub for military relocations, and local neighborhoods, schools, and services are very familiar with the PCS timelines and VA loans. That central location makes commuting, traveling, and relocating incredibly practical. Con number 4, public transportation and car dependence. While traffic is easy, it's important to talk about public transportation. If you're coming from a city with a robust subway or light rail system, Dayton's transit options may feel limited. Outside of a few downtown routes, most people rely on a car for daily errands and commuting, especially in the suburbs. That means factoring in car ownership and often a 2-car household into your budget. For many people, the trade-off is worth it, but it's something to understand upfront. Pro number 5, affordable higher education and in-state tuition value. One underrated advantage of living in Dayton is access to high quality, relatively affordable higher education. Ohio has several strong public and private universities, including the University of Dayton and Wright State University, and tuition costs here tend to be significantly lower than many coastal or high-growth states. For families, that can mean real long-term savings, whether it's in-state tuition, shorter commutes for college students, or the ability for kids to live at home while attending school. For buyers thinking long-term, this is one of those quiet financial advantages that doesn't always show up in relocation guides, but it absolutely matters. Lower cost of living plus more affordable education is a combination that's getting harder to find. Con number 5, high-end luxury apartment options downtown. On the flip side, if you're coming from a major metro and expecting a wide selection of high-end luxury apartment rentals right in the city center, Dayton may feel limited. While downtown has seen revitalization and new apartment development, the selection of true luxury, amenity-heavy, high-rise rentals is much smaller compared to cities like Chicago, Dallas, or even Columbus. That doesn't mean there are no nice apartments. There are. But if your lifestyle specifically revolves around upscale urban apartment living with lots of walkable luxury options, Dayton's market is still catching up in that area. For many buyers, that's not a deal breaker, especially given the affordability and homeownership opportunities here. But it is worth knowing up front. So there you have it. Are there cons to living in Dayton? Absolutely. But for many buyers, the pros, affordability, community, outdoor access, and the overall quality of life far outweigh them. If you're considering a move to Dayton and want help figuring out which area fits your lifestyle, I'd love to help. My contact info is below, and if this video helped you, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.